we'll get into round two. We will ask each other the questions based on what we've heard so far. Here's my question to you. You said about how the radio stations that they exist, that they stay on board, this tax were to pass, they'd be forced to change, and maybe that could be a good thing, that they could compete. That's easier said than done. What would be alternative plans of these stations that do try to compete with the mainstream markets, like stations such as this one, WWSU? How could they? What are their alternatives to competing if your way doesn't work?
Well, I tell you what, if my way doesn't work, they're pretty much hosed. I guess they would have to go to the news radio. But I honestly don't see how it could not work. If we dig up, let's say, I'm completely for radio. Radio is a huge, powerful tool. And I'm totally for radio. But I'm for independent radio. I'm for you getting your voice out there. And for the next DJ that's going to come in here in 2 hours or whatever, him getting his voice out there and his opinion and his love for music.
Yep.
And what would happen there is it would make you more powerful. It wouldn't be you're tucking your tail between your legs and running off. I'm for the tax, but I'm not for stations paying that tax. And I truly feel that it would have to work. I mean, it worked, in 1940. It worked in 1930 before there were record labels, big conglomerates controlling everything. It worked then, and it would have to work now. I believe what that would do is that would constrict the market to where it was more of a local avenue. It would provide a sense of community, if you will, to the listeners.
Yep.
To the staff even. The staff would feel a lot prouder about what they're putting out there because there would be ties to the community and the town.
Yeah.
And the advertising is there. It is a powerful tool. Radio reaches people. That's the bottom line. I think it's to a point where it doesn't matter what's on it. It being a powerful tool will bring the advertisers. So I don't see a potential fail. There's really no way now that this station can compete with a big-time mainstream commercial radio station because of all the funds that pour through there.
Yes.
So why not shoot to the other side? Why not say, forget competing with you, we're going to do our own thing? I mean, it's what got radio kicked off initially.
Yeah.
DJs digging through boxes and boxes of records.
Way back when.
Yeah.
The world's changed, though, but yeah, that's how radio got started to begin with. That spirit of we can perform, we can do something special.
Yeah.
Okay, now what's your question to me? Fire away.
My question to you is I don't understand, I guess, why you see it as such a downside when what it would do was it would basically put the power in your hands, and if the radio stations chose to, they could actually flip it on the label and on the music industry, so to say, because who plays their music? Who promotes their artists?
We do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you now if you choose to pay the tax, yes, they'll all a lot of little stations like this will go bankrupt. And I tell you what, in high school, I kept my tuner locked to 106.9 because of the variety, because you were playing things that weren't coming on 103.9 or whatever every hour. On the commercial station every hour. You're hearing the same 2-3 songs every 2 hours or so.
Okay.
And that was huge to me. I got hip to several artists I would have never known otherwise about. And that grew my influence as an artist, expanded my mind and horizon. So my question to you is, how is that a bad thing?
Well, the way you describe it's not a bad thing. But it is a big risk. Like, we have fantasies all the time. Like, we can take down the giant. We can burn down the Roman Empire.
Someone did.
Well, a long time ago. But this is, it's 2010. We are trying to. And like I said, if radio stations, I've seen in the articles all the time that there's stations that are scrambling for money as it is now without the radio performance tax. And we live in a society where the rich are getting rich and the poor are getting poor. You need money to survive. You need funds coming in. You need to have fundraisers. if that's not coming in, and you wind up getting bankrupt. And I wish it was different. The way that Eurovision would work is if major artists now, they too turn their backs on major record labels. Like say there's like we have Beyonce and Rihanna, anyone big in Coldplay. Like if they were to break their contract with the record labels and say we're going to be independent and radio stations, you don't have to charge for our music. You did hit on that point. Like most stations do thrive on music, and there could be also comedy radio. Like it could be all comedy bids. My question to you is, how can if a radio station, like they need talent, they need advertisements to promote those. Do you have alternative solution to if they can't find advertisements for these new stations? That's non-music stations. What is your advice to find advertisement for these new alternative stations?
Well, first off, I would suggest just music stations.
Okay.
News is just for the most part gossip, I've come to find, and who needs that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to go back to the community. You know, there needs to be a sense of community. It would be a hand-in-hand thing. I could go out and grab, 4 or 5 artists right now that would love to come in and perform right this second.
Yep.
And, they don't get the chance to because everybody's pushing this Britney Spears junk like you were talking about, which is really not art. It's a cookie cutter of the last boy/girl band hit. And, that it's become the market. It's all about the money. What type of music is getting the bang for the buck from the advertisers, and it's choking the art out of it. If we would bring the art back to it, that would tie the radio station with the community, where the art is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
There would be fundraisers where the radio station goes hand in hand with the artist. Really, I'm a songwriter myself, and I almost live to write songs and to be able to cut records.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge to me. So I would do it for next to nothing. I know another handful of acts that would come out and do it for free just to get their name out, and that would spawn all kinds of other stuff coming out of the woodwork that would help with that, with fundraising, with commercial opportunities. Just all kinds of things, benefits, and you name it. It could all happen. It's just a matter of really localizing a whole lot more. Everybody nowadays is thinking national and global, and but in that the community is lost and shattered. It's shattered with these delusions of grandeur that we all have. I'm guilty myself from time to time, because the idea of community is already shattered. But at one time, the city of Dayton was together, pulling for its radio stations, its papers, its local pharmacists, and really we would have to go back to that. And I'd like to see that anyway, personally.
Mm-hmm.
But the advertisers would come. I don't know what strictly news radio.
Yeah, for the music stations that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it worked before.
Yeah.
I have to go back to that because it truly did.
Mm-hmm.
And that was huge for so many teenagers.
Yeah.
Where would Foghat be?
Yeah.
Where would Love Hurts be? It wouldn't be Living in Infamy, I can tell you that.
Okay.
It would have never made the Days of Confused soundtrack.
Absolutely. Well, that's a good point. How many more questions do you have for me?
Right now, I have none, but I'm going to think of one.
Are you going to think of one?
I'm going to think of one for you right now.
All right. So, this will be the last question, and we'll go to break. We'll play some more songs, but think of something.
Okay. What good, other than money? I keep hearing all this talk about money.
Okay.
Other than that, what good can come from things staying as is without this tax? I feel personally that there needs to be a huge change. You see, I'm an art purveyor, though. I love art. I love people taking something that they've felt, that they've witnessed, and then turning it into something that was not.
Yes.
And right now, the industry is forced to push this cookie cutter stuff. And like I said, it just squeezes the life out of the art that was in it. And now it's just music. Okay, so other than money, what good comes from staying where it's at now?
Well, that is a good question. It does no good because I don't like the cookie cutter stuff. thing is, it's up to the rich people. These record executives, they are in charge. They have direct ties to the main station. Like we have one main station that I'm referring to. I don't think I should mention their name, perhaps, because I'm attacking them pretty hard. But the thing is, they are forced. They have someone at some point made a deal with these giant record executives. Like I'm trying to think of big record companies right now. There's Sony. There's Warner Brothers. They're still around. And who else is there? RCA.
There's so many of them tied together. It's almost hard to.
Well, there's a guy in that little office, that little box, kind of like behind the Wizard of Oz. There's a guy behind the curtain. Well, unfortunately, that's how it is, and they don't care about the audience, because otherwise, when we hearing this crap, we'll be hearing Keisha and Britney Spears 24/7 on the main big stream channels. But that's supposed to be the Hot 40. I hate to believe that there's music. That's the best music that's out there, what's been played on the mainstream stations.